For years, Vladimir Putin has presented Russia as the champion of Christian and traditional values. He paints the West as a decadent society where elites push strange and trendy ideas, such as multiple genders and gay pride parades. In his speech announcing the invasion of Ukraine, Putin accused the West of trying to destroy our traditional values. Tucker Carlson claimed that Washington hates Russia because it's a Christian country. He also sparred with many Republicans over US aid for Ukraine. While many Republicans support a tough stance towards Moscow, some American conservatives admire Putin for defending traditional, moral, and spiritual values. However, American conservatives should look closely at the leaders who promote these values. As a conservative raised in an Orthodox Christian faith, I know they will find hypocrisy and a disgusting attitude towards the United States. The Kremlin has two main goals. First, it wants to unite Russian society and legitimize its regime. Second, it seeks to win support abroad. For example, Putin has criticized Western cancel culture, accusing the US and Europe of discriminating against Russia. These efforts have paid off. Former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Michael Flynn publicly praised Putin for defending the family and God, calling these strong values that the West is destroying. Yet, despite Putin's claim, Russia does not live up to these traditional values. As of 2020, Russia has one of the highest abortion rates in the whole world. 31.6% compared to the European Union 11.4% and the United States only 9%. At the same time, the government restricts freedom of speech and press, values that should matter to American conservatives. Russia's leaders are full of contradictions. Patriarch Kirill, head of the Russian Orthodox Church, once urged the clergy to avoid flashy and provocative luxury so that their lifestyles will not stand out from those of ordinary people. Yet he has been seen wearing a $30,000 watch, enjoying a $4 million yacht, and traveling on a $43 million Gulfstream G450 jet. A 2020 investigation even linked him to several multi-million dollar properties. Putin is perhaps the biggest hypocrite of all. He speaks of preserving the nuclear family, yet while married to his first wife, he reportedly had an affair with Svetlana Krivonik that may have resulted in a child. He later divorced his first wife for Olympic gymnast Alina Kabaeva, with whom he is said to have fathered multiple children, a fact that he keeps secret. Some conservatives wonder how Putin, who grew up under communist Marxist teachings that labeled religion the opiate of the masses, can support the church. For Putin, the church is just a tool for domestic and international manipulation. In 2016, he signed laws limiting the practice of faith to recognized church buildings. Putin ties to the church run deep. Patriarch Kirill, who was once accused of spying for the KGB in Switzerland, supported Putin's actions in Ukraine and even blessed nuclear weapons. His predecessor, Patriarch Alexei II, whose KGB codename was Drozdov, was also a KGB agent. In 2002, Patriarch Alexei II blessed the opening of the FSB departmental church. All these facts show that Putin's claim of defending traditional values are empty propaganda. American conservatives need to see the hypocrisy for what it is. One striking result of Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin was that many viewers ended up with a favorable impression of the Russian leader. Despite threatening NATO with nuclear hints, Putin remains one of the most despised and feared figures in the world. Yet he still has many admirers in the US. For Putin, the interview, seen by over 200 million people on Carlson X, was a win. It came at a time when President Joe Biden's cognitive abilities were being questioned. Putin showed a deep knowledge of Russian history, shared details about failed peace talks in Ukraine, and even mentioned Carlson's own background in history and interest in the CIA. Putin's long list of complaints about NATO also matched Donald Trump's critiques of the alliance, and the interview took place when Washington was locked in a fierce debate over continued support for Ukraine, which now totals $100 billion. In short, for a busy tyrant like Putin, 2 hours on air with Carlson was time well spent. The Kremlin, with its KGB roots, couldn't have asked for a better moment. This brings us to the issue of Putin's American fan club. Some conservatives praise Putin for standing up to what they call radical LGBTQ ideology. Over his nearly 25 years in power, he has introduced several pro-life choices aimed at boosting Russia's low birth rate, a problem partially due to his high abortion rate. But that is only one side of the story. Though Putin calls himself a devout Russian Orthodox believer and defender of the faith, he is a ruthless leader who used the church to further his own power and dreams of a resurgent Mother Russia. As a former KGB man, he saw the collapse of the Soviet Union as a tragedy and needed something to replace communist ideology. The Russian Orthodox Church, once persecuted and later infiltrated, now fills that void, unfortunately. Putin supports the Russian Orthodox Church as long as it stays loyal to him, but not to other faiths. Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, and other religious minorities can face fines for distributing literature outside their places of worship, and vogue anti-terrorism laws may lead to harsher punishments. For this reason, the US Commission on International Religious Freedoms lists Russia among 17 nations of particular concern for its ongoing violations of religious freedoms. Sadly, Russian Orthodox leaders have stayed silent as Russia cracks down on religious freedom and other human rights in Ukraine. Patriarch Kirill is not only Putin's spiritual advisor but also one of his stronger allies. He has called Putin a miracle from God and framed the war in Ukraine as a noble crusade to reclaim sacred territory and protect ethnic Russians from Western moral decay. As Metropolitan Archbishop Boris Guzdiak of the Ukrainian Catholic Church in US noted, not one of Russia's roughly 400 Orthodox bishops have spoken out against the war. So while Putin may come across in the Carlson interview as a shrewd and impressive leader, boasting about Moscow modern city lives, we should not be fooled into seeing him as a heroic defender of Christian civilization. He is a dictator, part of a long line of Russian tyrants, and his actions in Ukraine show how he will sacrifice anyone and anything to achieve his goals, even his own people and their future. God bless everybody. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you can, and have a nice day.